How would you feel if the person you love becomes one of the most ridiculed people in the world? Like Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark, are the allegations true that you are secretly a lizard?
A tech genius who lived a privileged life, both loved and hated for his world-changing inventions.
And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
And because of his social awkwardness, often labeled as a robot with no emotions.
New face filters on Instagram today. This is my favorite one so far. Nice job, team.
Meanwhile, this is his wife, Priscilla Chan, a humble daughter of struggling Asian immigrants, who in contrast could not be any more human and literally cries in almost every interview.
My greatest hope is the resilience that I see in kids.
Mark and Priscilla are quite possibly one of the most power couples you've ever seen.
大家好，新年快乐。
And that's why some people can't help but ask, what did this woman see in this seemingly awkward guy that made her fall in love with him?
He just doesn't move his face.
Nightfam, I can promise you, this video will surprise you at the end. This is the fascinating love story of Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan.
Priscilla's the most important person in my life.
For starters, Mark and Priscilla came from opposite parts of the world. In fact, it's even a miracle Priscilla is now the first lady of Facebook, because all she knew as a young kid was struggle.
My grandparents were business people in Saigon. The war hit, they were persecuted. The only way out was to put their children on boats and send them off to sea, and hopefully they find opportunity on the other side.
Her refugee Chinese parents didn't go to college, so they did everything just for young Priscilla to get a good education. But despite struggling as a kid who didn't fit in, Priscilla eventually got into Harvard as a full scholar. And there she would meet the guy who would not only change her life, but also change the world.
My best memory from Harvard is meeting Priscilla.
Around this time, the teenage prodigy Mark already got into trouble for a prank app he built. And he was so ready to get kicked out that his friends threw him a farewell party. And guess who was at that party? Priscilla. Coincidentally, standing in line with Mark for the bathroom.
And in what must be one of the all-time most romantic lines, I turned to her and said, I'm getting kicked out in 3 days, so we need to go on a date quickly.
Again, let me remind you, Mark was already famous in Harvard for being a tech genius at this point. So, it would make sense for Priscilla, a young college girl with big dreams, to want to be with him. But guess what she did?
Okay. And we had gone out to have hot chocolate, and the date was going well. And then he said, I'm really enjoying this. Would you like to go watch a movie? I have a take-home midterm, but I'd rather do that instead.
She wasn't into him at all.
So I was like, huge red flag. This guy's not doing his homework. He's not going to amount to anything.
But see, that's exactly what made Priscilla so remarkable in his eyes. Because she didn't treat him like some weird genius. To her, he was just another regular guy until they got closer.
Priscilla's here with me too. This is the first time that we've been back in the store. This is literally where I sat, and I had my little laptop here. And this is where I programmed Facebook.
And since then, they just kept going stronger. Priscilla went on to become a pediatrician, and Mark dropped out of college to continue building Facebook. Eventually, they moved in together, secretly got married, until they finally had their first daughter, who inspired them to pledge almost all of their $1 billion wealth to fund noble causes.
Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg promising to give away 99% of his shares of the company to charity in a letter to his newborn daughter.
Having this child has made us think about all of the things that should be improved in the world for her whole generation.
And during this crazy whirlwind of changes,
and you probably have more haters than just about anyone in town.
I mean, I think once you reach a certain scale.
Mark and Priscilla were each other's rocks during these incredibly tough times, making sure their relationship didn't suffer in the middle of all this outside chaos.
We're really looking forward to meeting her.
I would like, it's my turn to hold her.
Because let's face it, this was never a regular relationship to begin with. Early on, they even had to set some rules, like strictly 1 date per week and at least 100 minutes of alone time outside Facebook. I mean, we're talking about a guy who even built an exclusive AI companion for their family home.
Fresh shirt.
Fire in the hole.
Hell yeah.
A husband who invented a light filtering tool just for his wife Priscilla to sleep more soundly. And if you ask me, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't really deserve to be seen as this so-called lizard, heartless humanoid.
Goes from a human emotion back to absolute dead face.
And perhaps that is how he managed to overcome such an insanely high level of hate. Because he knows that Priscilla will still be right there by his side, ready to lend him her heart and her shoulder.
I see him at home and in his work, grappling with these massive questions. I am proud of how he's been handling all of this, and I know he is doing his hardest, and I wish others could see that.
And so whether you love or hate Mark Zuckerberg, you cannot deny there are more sides to this man, different from all the memes and labels that many people throw.
Itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout.
What? I'm a dad now. This is what I listen to.
He's certainly not a heartless robot, but a loving husband and dad.
Nice, nice. Up, you've got me in the corner.
He may be socially awkward, but let's be honest. There are tons of introverts out there, the same introverts who most definitely criticize him for the way he is. That's quite hypocritical.
In this hallway, which is a very narrow hallway, so it's about 1 pregnant woman wide.
And for Priscilla, well, there is certainly more to this amazing woman than just being Mark Zuckerberg's wife.
I'm trying to actually touch and change people's lives at the end of my time.
She just cares immensely about people.
And this couple may be crazy wealthy, but their kids are taught humility.
We've told her Facebook, and she thinks Facebook is a bookstore.
And even more importantly, purpose.
Every night when I put my daughters to bed, I ask them every day, what did you do today to help someone?
May their relationship remind you how important it is to have that one true person who will bring out the good in you and see the best in you no matter what.
I would have said you're my favorite person, and if I had to be locked up with anyone, it would be you.
Because life will always be complicated. But everything is possible to overcome with love.